hardest thing about this video was actually looking up the studio, because with a name like Far From Home, it was easy to dive into the world of Spider-Man every time I entered it into Google. That being said, in my opinion, this is far more exciting because Polish studio Far From Home has unveiled their next-gen sci-fi survival game, Forever Skies. If you're a golden oldie like myself, then the first thing that you may have thought of was a mixture between Guns of Icarus and Subnautica. Essentially, Forever Skies is a first-person survival game, and you basically go back to Earth after everything has been fucked up for the billionth time, and the only way that you can survive is flying around in a high-tech hot air balloon. And from here, it is basically your job to expand, rebuild, and repair as much as you can. And of course, in true survival fashion, you're going to have to survive against all the beasties that lie below. Now, this is all the details that we've been given by the developers, but we do have a gameplay trailer to go through. At the moment, we do know that it is coming out in 2022. It is going to be single player, which is a little bit of a disappointment for a game like this, because if you look back at titles such as Subnautica, the only real big disappointment about it was the fact that it didn't have multiplayer for the game. So aside the giant barrel of nothing that we were given from the developers, this is what we have been able to discern from the trailer itself. So iterating again, the world has gone to pants, everything is rusted and broken down, and all the buildings look pretty, well, blown up. I'm going to put 2 and 2 together and presume that there are going to be some big old bad guys in the game. The guns that they've showcased are pretty beefy, and I can't imagine that they've put in these Unreal Tournament sized weapons just for the show of it. There also seem to be Fallout style computer terminals that give you little bits of information. I'm going to presume that's what they're going to use to build up the lore and tell you what happened to the planet. There is also building and construction. I gotta say, the style of the ship and kind of like the modern elements to it, they really do have a Subnautica feel to them. Even the building has a Subnautica feel to it. Like, you have a gun that seems to be able to disassemble items into like a base matter, I guess. And then when you go and build the item, it kind of like, I don't know, teleports in, sort of like Star Trek fashion, very similar to how Subnautica did it. And personally, I don't find anything wrong with that because Subnautica was a really good game, but I just thought the comparisons were quite interesting. Your airship is a super modern airship. It kind of looks like a Dyson vacuum bag on like a very sleek, I don't know, Los Angeles apartment. And again, in terms of colour palette, I gotta say, I know I keep mentioning Subnautica, but it's like even the blues and the hues of it feel very Subnautica-y. Outside of that, these guys absolutely love the colour orange. I guess they had a great time with sunsets or whatever. I mean, everything is rusted, so I guess the hues make sense. But the world is either this nice emerald greeny blue or orange and rusted and just blown apart. There also seems to be the ability to grow plants in the game because you can see them potted out in various screenshots, and also the way that you expand your balloon. Again, this is all my own interpretation, but it looks like you can actually build compartments under it, and it ends up having several layers or little extension rooms to the overall structure of the airship. Now, I haven't gone through the whole video and I haven't seen any enemies in terms of things that would actually kill you, so I know I said about these big chunky weapons, but I could be wrong. But I'm going with my gut and saying that there are going to be things that kill you. Now, they only put in a brief clip of this, but there also seems to be weather effects as well. There is lightning in the game. Whether or not I can hit your airship and blow it up, maybe that's how you take structural damage. But there is also buildings that are falling down and blowing up as well. I don't know if this is a cutscene. Maybe you have a certain amount of time that you can go into a building before it just erodes away and just falls into the nether. That would be pretty cool. I also think it's pretty important to note that the character you're playing doesn't seem to have any face or identity. It's just in this futuristic kind of tech suit. Maybe you have a little bit of customization around that and you don't actually have any identity. Or maybe the fact that it's because the world is covered in this giant pea green thick smog that you've got to wear it all the time, otherwise you just end up dying. Last thing I just want to mention as well, even though this is pre-alpha footage, it looks really good. I mean, it looks clean, it looks smart, it looks polished. How it plays, I have no idea. But just from the visual elements so far, I think they've done a top-notch job. And I am interested in at least maybe watching this or having a little bit of a playthrough. As I say, the only main real disappointment for this is it's a survival game which is single player. Which, I'm going to be honest, is usually the tick box for me to just put this one into the review bin straight away. I want games that are social and I play with my friends, especially those in the sandbox genre. Anyway, that's all I've got on this one. As soon as I know more, I will give you more details. Again, apologies for being away. I've been busy with work, but as usual, stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll be back with more news and reviews soon.